People, I guess forever I will be the redneck guy. I was just doing a tour with Larry the Cable Guy and Bill Engvall, and I was sitting in the dressing room one night doing the redneck calendar, the page a day calendar, and Larry popped in my room. He goes, "How long you been doing them things?" And I said, "I wrote the first one in 1990, so what, 23 years, I guess." And he goes, "How do you keep coming up with redneck jokes?" And I looked at him. I said, "There's no research going on. It is my family." To that end, let me share this story with you. Back early in the fall, my wife and I got an invitation to my cousin Sherry's wedding in Alabama. And we got the feeling that it was a hurry-up wedding, because the invitation was a fax. And at the bottom they had written BYOLC, which we learned meant bring your own lawn chair, because they were getting married in her parents' backyard, because I guess the OBGYN had told them they didn't have 6 weeks to wait on a church. So my mom was at my house that day, so I started making jokes about it being a hurry-up wedding. Well, my mother got mad. My mother said, "Don't you dare say anything about Sherry. She is the sweetest girl alive. She never tells anybody no about anything." Pretty much why we're having to go to Alabama now. But my mother knows everything. So I said, "Mom, how did she even meet this guy?" And my mother said, "Well, they met in a laundromat." So right there it's anointed by God. Apparently, Sherry needed change for the dryer, and she said this guy Dustin came over and gave her half a roll of quarters. Just gave it to her, which by then, under Alabama law, I think she was required to have sex with him. But my mom wants to go to this wedding, and she doesn't drive on the interstate or through swamps, so she wants us to take her. And I can't tell my mom no, and so I'm like, all right, we'll go to the wedding. Well, immediately my mom starts pitching for us to stay at my Uncle Ray and Aunt Tina's house. And I don't want to do that because I'm allergic to ferrets. And so I say to my mom, I said, "Mom, why don't we just stop at the Motel 6 in Dothan, Alabama?" And my mother said, and I quote, "Well, I don't want people thinking we're uppity." Which in my family is a possibility. One year, my brother brought 3 buckets of Kentucky Fried Chicken to the family reunion, and all day long people were like, "What's up, Donald Trump?" So at the risk of being uppity, we stop at the Motel 6 in Dothan. And if I had known that it was chili cook-off weekend in Dothan, I would have called ahead and made a reservation, because they only had 1 room available. And from the smell of it, some of the past chili cook-off winners had stayed there. But when the lady at the desk said 1 room, I'm thinking in my mind 2 double beds. Well, we get to the room, and there is 1 queen-size bed for me, my wife, and my mother. And my wife's not real happy because she knows she's in the middle. Yeah, she's the Berlin Wall. Because if I wake up spooning with the wrong person, it is going to take years of therapy to get me back right again. Well, you learn stuff when you're on the road. Well, that night I learned that the walls of the Motel 6 in Dothan, Alabama are apparently made out of toilet paper, because the couple in the room next to us liked each other a lot and loudly. And me, my wife, and my mother lay in that queen-size bed and listened to them like each other for an hour and a half. At which point my wife tapped me and said, "You need to do something." I said, "I'm about to walk next door and ask for his autograph." An hour and a half? That's 3 years' work for me. Well, the next morning we're getting ready, and I hear them leaving the room, and I want to see them. Because you listen to it, you have this mental image. So I run over and I crack the door and peek out in the hall. Oh, Lord, I wish I'd never done it. Y'all, they were biggins. Biggins. I think half the moaning and groaning was them trying to take their socks off. Well, we leave the Motel 6. We drive down to my Uncle Wayne's house. Cars are parked all down the street. So as we're walking up the driveway to the house, there's a pickup truck in the driveway. And I'm looking, and it looks like somebody has passed out against the passenger window. And I'm like, what the heck? And I walk up. In the passenger seat of this truck with the seatbelt on is a dead deer. You can't make this up. And the doors are locked. I go in the house. I said, what's the story with the deer in the truck? My cousin Scott said, we hid it on the way over here, but I didn't want to leave it in the bed because I thought somebody might steal it. He thinks somebody's going to steal a dead deer at the family wedding. Well, we visit a little while, then they tell everybody to grab their lawn chairs. We go out in the backyard where they're going to have the ceremony. They have decided that the altar for the wedding is going to be the redwood deck of the above-ground pool. You might be a redneck. And the entire pool and deck are covered in colored Christmas lights. So I leaned over to my brother. I said, hey, I wonder how long it took to put up the wedding decorations. And my brother said, well, we were here 2 years ago and they were up then, so I don't think they ever come down. So they get ready for the ceremony. My cousin Sherry comes out in a snow white dress, 8 months pregnant, in a snow white dress. I'm looking for a big star or 3 wise men riding camels up the driveway or something. The irony's lost on my mother, who tapped me and said, that's the same dress her mother got married in. And I'm doing the math, and the only answer I can come up with is ho squared. So, well, we get through the ceremony. The guy that was the best man is now the DJ. He's wearing his tuxedo pants and no shirt. He is lighting firecrackers with his cigarette and throwing them at Sherry's grandmother's feet just to hear her cuss. And she's good. Sherry's mother, Donna, is walking around with a styrofoam cooler that's filled with Ziploc bags of birdseed, because she said Sherry read online that if you give the birds, if you throw rice, the birds will eat it, and then when they drink water, that rice will expand and it'll kill the birds. So she wants everybody to throw birdseed, which we did. And to this day, I haven't had the heart to tell her 2 hours after they left, her little brothers were in the front yard with pellet guns shooting the birds while they ate the birdseed. But they get in the car. Now, most people just drive off, not my relatives. They get in Dustin's Camaro and proceed to do donuts in my Uncle Wayne's yard. Third time around, her door flies open. I'm standing next to her grandmother, who threw her beer on the ground and said, if this lasts 6 months, I'll kiss a good man's ass. So, Jeff, where do you come up with all of those redneck jokes? And here's the other thing. I'm not only in a redneck and come from world-class rednecks, I'm married into world-class rednecks. My wife and her entire family are from the great state of Louisiana. So, anybody from Louisiana? Yeah? What do you think about this electricity? This is something else, isn't it? It's pretty cool. Don't touch it, it gets real hot. I just thought. Where are you from in Louisiana? South Louisiana. My wife's from New Orleans. You from like the Cajun country there? South Louisiana? Yeah. Greatest food on the planet Earth, Louisiana, is as long as you don't ask a lot of questions. As long as there's a ditch on the side of the road, nobody is going hungry in Louisiana. I've eaten with my wife's relatives. She's like, man, this is great. What is it? They're like, you don't want to know. Put you a little more hot sauce on it. Keep chewing that, city boy. Come on, give me a clue. Does it swim? Does it fly? Maybe it do and maybe it don't. You just keep eating. I've seen them hit boiling pots with a wooden spoon going, get back in there right now. And I don't want to act like I don't know anything, because you don't get to be this age and haven't learned something. All right, my plane ride out here, y'all got to help me. Because here's the weird thing as a comic. You don't know if something's funny or not until you try it out on somebody. So I was thinking there's got to be some things you do know. So I'm going to call these the facts of life. That's nothing to do with sex, just things you know. Facts. All right, here's a fact of life. If you want the phone to ring, sit on the toilet. My phone won't ring all day long. I sit on the toilet and starts, and then you got your pants around your ankle. And you never make it in time, you check caller ID, it's a toll-free number. All right, here's another one. Here's a fact of life. If you are trying to get to the bathroom in an emergency situation, unbuttoning your pants in an effort to save time is not a good idea. Because the muscles that guard the floodgates take that unbuttoning as a sign to abandon their post. And the 4 seconds you saved unbuttoning are nullified by the hour and a half you spend mopping and doing a load of laundry. Oh, 2 for 2, I'm so happy. Fact of life, the insanity of the person driving the car is directly proportional to the number of bumper stickers on the back of the car. Am I right? Doesn't matter left wing, right wing. When you pull up behind a car with 25 bumper stickers, you're like, somebody's avoiding them at the family reunion, I guarantee you. Fact of life, the more kids you have, the worse your parenting becomes. People with 1 kid are making homemade baby food out of organic vegetables they grew in their own garden. By the time the 4th kid comes along, you're drinking a beer while you watch your toddler pull a milk dud out from under the stove and eat it. Fact of life, the length of a woman's nightgown is directly proportional to the length of her husband's nose hairs. We're a little iffy over there. Fact of life, if you agree to follow somebody in your car going somewhere you have no idea where you're going, that person will run every yellow light and change lanes like somebody on the world's scariest police chases. It could be your 80-year-old uncle. When you agree to follow him from the church to the reception, he suddenly becomes the Dukes of Hazzard. He's like jumping creeks and turning corners on 2 wheels. All right, fact of life. Hopefully this is, I just think if my family does it, we're not the only ones, so we'll find out. Fact of life, everybody on the planet, no matter where you live, no matter how much money you got, everybody has a junk drawer in their house. Okay, I've never been to your house. Let me see how close I come. Within that drawer, there are an assortment of screws and paper clips, 6 rubber bands, 2 marbles, 5 AA batteries you don't know if they're good or bad, 10 pizza coupons, all of which have expired, a broken garage door opener, 2 packets of soy sauce, some cough drops, a tube of glue Superman could not get the top off of, and 1 lens from a pair of sunglasses. Good, okay? All right, here we go. 37 cents in change, including a nickel with a hole in it, 3 birthday candles, a checkbook from a bank you used 10 years ago, a combination lock that is locked and you do not know the combination to it, 7 keys that go to God knows what, the light bulb from a flashlight, 6 business cards from people you don't remember meeting, a picture of somebody's gap-toothed kid in a cap and gown, 1 shoestring, directions to a coffee maker you no longer own, a bullet, a keychain your kid made that was too ugly to actually use, 3 Tic Tacs, a piece of string, and a dead roach laying on its back with its feet in the air. Is that pretty close? And there's always like one of those stubby screwdrivers with paint on the end of it too, that you could use if you remembered it was in there, but you never did. All right, here's the last one. Fact of life, everybody over 50 thinks the world is going to hell in a handbasket. And it's our own fault. Because, and we didn't start out to do this, but we may go down in history as the worst generation of parents to ever live. It's because we have hovered over our kids so much, we've left them incapable of doing stuff. I'm telling you,